Welcome back to the channel. Today I am over at the shop and it is 1 in the morning. This is the earliest I've ever gotten to the shop, but last night I was able to get my hands on a pretty decent 3D scanner. So a guy that I know builds these pretty trick off-road carts, and he had a 3D scanner. He called me up. He said, "I heard you're looking for one. Let me borrow it." So a lot of people have been asking on my channel, where is the dash that you made for the Hellcat Magnum? And there was a pretty good answer. I was supposed to get a 3D scanner from a company, then I ordered a 3D scanner offline, and it didn't work very well. But now I have a good, pretty decent 3D scanner. It's not the top of the line, but it is gonna work perfectly fine. So he let me borrow his laptop, his pretty much whole setup, which is awesome. You know, once he gets his website and everything set up, I'll put a link in the description. But what I'm going to end up doing today is most likely scanning this dash plus a bunch of other stuff. So if you guys forgot about this custom dash for the Hellcat Magnum, since I'm using the newer Durango Hellcat display, which is, I believe, 10.5 inches or something around there, I needed to use this whole Durango pretty much gauge cluster slash center display area. Plus it looks better than the Charger. It's more oriented towards the driver and it looks a little bit more aggressive than a Challenger. So there's 3 dashes in this custom dash. So we have the bottom piece of the Challenger stuff because I'm using the Challenger center console. We have the Durango display and the gauge cluster plus the Durango vents. And this part is also Challenger slash Durango, and this back part is Charger. So all the pillars work, it mounts, you know, fits up towards the window perfectly, and we're not going to have any issues there. The one thing I didn't want to do, like I said in the previous video when I made this dash out of bonding it together in body filler, this dash is really heavy right now. It has a lot of body filler and it probably weighs 250 pounds. Like I said, this is the earliest I've been in the shop, and this is the first time I've actually seen lights at night in the shop. And outside it's crazy how bright these are, but it's so nice having good lighting in here. Before I 3D scan the dash, I want to 3D scan both of these grills for the wagon because I want to redesign them. I want to make the opening a lot larger, which will make it look a lot more aggressive, and I think it'll look a lot better. But it'll be easier to explain what's going on something smaller instead of trying to explain what's going on in something larger, which is going to take a lot more time to scan. So I'll show you what's happening when I scan the dash, but I'll explain what's happening when I do these grills really quick. So the first thing, if it is black or if it is glossy, you want to spray it in developer spray, but most of the time developer spray, you have to order it. It takes a little bit of time to get to you, and it's a lot more expensive than the Athlete's Foot powder. So get the stuff that you spray or sprays out of the cans, and it just gives it a white, flat tint, which is really nice. First, you want to make sure this is nice and shaken up, and then you want to make sure everything is nice and sprayed. See how it gives it the nice, flat white tint? All right, so now you can see it's pretty much like a flat, almost like a flat bluish white, and that's exactly what you want. So everything that was glossy and black is now flat, and this stuff washes off, so you don't have to worry about coating something with like paint or something like that that won't come off. So I'm actually going to hang this up here like so, and now I need to plug in the 3D scanner right there. Turn on the laptop. So gonna do handheld rapid scan. Could do like a fixed scan or an HD scan, but this is the one we want. I'm gonna do a new project. Hellcat wide body left hand grill. I'm gonna do high detail. Could do medium or low depending on the part. Since this is kind of intricate and it's pretty small, high is fine. And then since I'm not doing markers and features, I'm just, you know, either do marker slash features. So as long as it doesn't see any markers, it won't try to, you know, just use the features. So just hit apply. It's going to show us what the camera on the scanner is seeing. And you want to actually move or adjust these until, come on, until it starts to see. There we go. So back it off one. Come on. So right there is about, you can see a little bit of rep. So now we're just going to hit the button that's play one time, and it's going to give us a preview to make sure we're actually seeing the part, which is good. So now you hit the play again, and it's going to start scanning it and see. Too close. Now we're scanning. Look at that. She's scanning good. Oh man, this is way better. This is so much nicer. So for the most part, this is pretty good. I don't think there's much else that I need on this, since I'm going to just be moving in 3D printing a whole new piece and designing a whole new piece. The reason that Dodge left this, it's almost like it should be a turn signal right there, but it's because the crash bar sits here. So they couldn't make this grill any higher. They said that is this size of grill is like the recommended size. They don't want more than that going into those coolers, but I think the reason they did this was because they didn't want to redesign the crash support, which it would only taken half of that off of the side, which I really don't think it would have mattered, which I'm going to end up just doing like a tubular one or something like that. So I'm going to move this and just have this extend up to here, like I said, and then over, because I really don't like this pocket on the edge. I think it will look a lot better if this grill just goes out to the edge and it just comes all the way up. So now you just hit the check mark. I think this is probably as good as I need it to get, because I'm going to redesign the whole thing anyway. It doesn't need to be perfect. Do you want to apply the edited results? You hit yes or no, or continue editing. We're going to go yes. It processes it pretty quick because it's not very many points. And then we'll be able to either make it a water type model, which I'm going to maybe try. Hopefully it should close off all of these voids and combine them, which should be good, but I want to make sure first. So then we're going to go this check mark right here, generate the point clouds. I could do this, but it's going to use a lot of memory, so I'm going to go with speed. I don't think this computer has that much memory, so we're going to go apply. Looks pretty good. Yeah, looks like factory, like a piece of factory plastic right there. Nice and smooth. We have this edge back here. Looks good. We have the back of that edge right there. Should be enough to get this redesigned. I need to do the other one though really quick. So now from here you go to save and you do left hand, whatever your file is going to be, left hand Hellcat grill, and I'm going to save it as an STL and an object file. Save that. Scale, you want to leave it at 100 unless you are reducing it or something, but if you're trying to make a part off of it, just leave it at 100. Now I have that file saved and I can go into CAD, redesign this off of, or design a new part off of this, and then either have it 3D printed or machined or whatever I want. So I'm really happy that this actually came out as good as it did. is that one Magnum that I cut the roof off of. This thing has been a very essential part of the project. I pretty much cut it up for the Hellcat Magnum in here. That's where all the sheet metal, or most of the sheet metal for the top of the hatch and some of the roof, and actually the roof is now carbon fiber, but to make the roof mold and some of the stuff back there. But I needed that car and all the understructure to make the project happen. Now it is getting repurposed once again, since I didn't want to have to bring the whole car over here. I just cut this pretty much back half where the fuel tank mounts, and I need to 3D scan this whole area right here so we can get a fuel tank made, and so everything bolts in perfectly. I want to retain the evap. There's a factory tank right there, and the only reason it doesn't fit into the station wagon with the Trackhawk drivetrain is because the diff is a lot larger. It's probably double the size of a Hellcat differential, but this is the evap block, so this goes to the evap canister. So these lines right here, and then this line right here goes to the front of the car, and this line right here goes to the filler neck, and then all of these are like vents, so when you're filling the tank up, it doesn't build up pressure in weird spots. I want the aftermarket aluminum tank that I'm going to build to be able to work with a factory car. Plus over here, I needed this to be over here like they were on the older Magnums. So let's get to 3D scanning. This should go pretty quick, and we'll kind of go from there. One thing I did find 3D scanning the dash is if you spray a white base, it doesn't really like it too much. It shows all red, and even if you adjust it, it still has a lot of pretty much holes in the 3D scan. So I had some ceramic exhaust paint or engine paint laying around, and you just give it a little bit of a dust and it picks it up really nice. I'm not sure if it's because the ceramic in the paint, but it does a very, very good job at doing that. So let's get this scanned really quick and finally be able to design this fuel tank. Just finished scanning the floor pan from the Magnum, and you can see right here it came out really, really good. I mean, it has quite a few holes in it. I wasn't too worried about getting 100% of it scanned, but we have subframe pickup points right here. We have fuel tank pickup points right there, and right there. And then we have all of the fuel tank. We have enough of it to be able to design a fuel tank around it. I really love having a 3D scanner again, because this is the one thing that could have taken this project even further faster if I could have just 3D scanned everything from this, the Trackhawk, designed all the suspension in CAD, and then had it all CNC cut and bent, and then just welded everything together. Now we have our floor scan. I can get this fuel cell or the fuel tank. I'm gonna do pretty much a factory style fuel tank just like this, but I'm gonna make it so it's pretty much half and half. So it has one side is the surge tank, and I'm moving the fuel pump over to the passenger side, so the fuel lines will come directly out of the fuel tank and not have all these weird lines where the fuel pump has to come up and it does all kinds of crazy stuff. The lines will directly come out here. I'll have fittings for a dash 10 or 12, and then a dash 8 or 10, I'm not sure exactly yet, come right through here, perfectly out of the tank. And then we'll have our secondary side of the tank, and it'll just use a siphon suction, pretty much like the factory one does, but it'll just be vice versa, and I'll still have both of the fuel level sensors inside both sides, so I know exactly what my fuel level is. I'm pretty excited about this. So let's move on to scanning the engine bay. What I'm going to do tonight is order a bunch of parts to build a new PC, and I haven't built a computer in quite a while, so I don't even know what I'm going to get myself into, but I need to get this done so I can get all the interior started, get everything figured out with that as well. I'm going to end the video here, and probably next week sometime I'll have all the parts for my computer, build that system. I also want to build a kind of a computer case slash a desk, but I'll worry about that later on. And the video here, if you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.